When working in a restaurant, there are some things you just can't unsee.
He was stabbed with a skewer and was bleeding.
After spending my formative years in the service industry, some of the stories we're going to go over hit a little too close to home.
A more than $3 million verdict against a restaurant owner.
Drama, drunk customers, dastardly drug use, and health code violations so bad they make Saw look sanitary.
Maggots.
No, that's not true.
Don't answer me. Don't answer no question. We cannot answer any question.
Maggots?
Together, we dug our way out of the weeds, through the trenches, and made it to the other side, surviving some actually unbelievable stuff during our tenure in the service industry. Are you regretting this yet?
Already, yeah.
Yeah, figured. Well, let's get into it. This is the kind of story that sounds like a rejected Breaking Bad episode. This happened on Friday, March 16th, 2018 at a White Castle in Hobart, Indiana. Employees noticed a guy acting weird in the dining area. Not the usual kind of weird. He was hunched over a large duffel bag, mixing chemicals in a plastic bottle. Turns out, he was cooking meth in the dining room while people were trying to eat sliders. The severity of the situation required a full hazmat sweep, and 4 Hobart police officers had to be treated for exposure to the hazardous chemicals. A one-pot meth lab is basically what it sounds like. All the ingredients for meth are cooked in a single container. And it's dangerous, unstable, extremely illegal, but it's portable and fast. So, yeah. And here's what's more crazy. The restaurant reopened the same day. The White Castle Vice President, Jamie Richardson, issued a statement praising the employees for their quick action, noting that the restaurant was inspected by the local Board of Health and was open by 6 p.m. that same evening.
That's shake and bake, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much one pot, I imagine, is it's just shake and bake. You put it in there?
Yeah, it's like a simplified, clandestine, portable meth lab.
Are you citing that from experience, Jordan?
I'm citing that from a lot of Breaking Bad.
I feel like that was just part of the menu option. And they got caught doing it. They were running a special.
Cocaine and the cheese sticks. The Euro Shop stash. In one of the more dim-witted moves in restaurant history, a woman running a Euro Shop in Indiana, here we go again, decided to use her mozzarella sticks containers to smuggle cocaine. More Tyrone Biggums than Tony Montana, really. The owner, 50-year-old Carrie DeMoff, was caught on surveillance footage slipping a small baggie of white powder in a takeout order. The drugs were found hidden in a plastic foam cup, along with a side of cheese sticks. The order was meant for someone else, but a coworker unknowingly handed it to a completely uninvolved and innocent customer. The customer was actually told by an employee they were going to hook her up, so she initially thought she was getting extra food. That's when the most ridiculous part happened. The restaurant owner realized the colossal error. Before the customer could even get home, she received a frantic phone call from Carrie DeMoff, the shop owner, asking for the cheese sticks back. When the customer refused, the employee reportedly offered to come pick up the order at her house. That's when the customer got suspicious, opened the box, and discovered the bag of white powder. Spoiler, it wasn't Parmesan, it was cocaine. Meanwhile, back at the Euro Shop, the intended drug buyer walked in, bypassed the cashier, and started counting out cash for DeMoff. The police surveillance footage of this moment is absolutely legendary. DeMoff became visibly distraught and irate because she couldn't find the bag of cocaine. She started frantically making phone calls in a desperate attempt to retrieve the misdelivered product. The police arrived, confirmed the substance was cocaine, and arrested DeMoff. She was charged with felony possession and attempted dealing of cocaine. The restaurant's license was suspended immediately, and the shop was never to be opened again.
Okay.
What a dummy.
First of all, who ratted them out?
So the person who picked up what they thought was just a cheese stick takeout order got the cocaine in her order by mistake.
I get that, but so she called the cops.
She called the cops.
I mean, they're just trying to make some extra money in this economy.
Yeah, it's a tough economy.
She's like the John DeLorean of restaurateurs, really.
Why are our last 2 stories so drug-related out of Indiana?
You've worked in restaurants for years. You know exactly why they're drug-related.
Yeah, but usually it's, the dishwasher or the busser.
Dishwasher's just the dealer. No,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
He takes care of the servers, the bartender, the line cook, management, hosts, food runners for sure.
Attempted distribution of cocaine. I mean, what a loser on the prison yard.
You tried to drug. You couldn't.
You couldn't even get it done. I think it's best she got caught because it's definitely not her line of work.
So surprise, surprise, the next restaurant story is drug related. This next guy, though, is a real life Gustavo Fring. But if Pollos Hermanos served tacos instead. Minnesota restaurateur Aldo Escoto ran a regional chain of popular spots that doubled as a front for a multi-million-dollar drug operation. While positioning himself as a community advocate, Escoto was secretly overseeing an operation that trafficked marijuana, cocaine, and methamphetamine. Federal prosecutors filed a massive 46-count federal indictment against Escoto in August of 2016, detailing how he used the restaurants to launder money and hide his criminal enterprise. The crimes didn't stop at trafficking. Escoto, who also went by the alias Francisco Estrada de Haro, was charged with illegal re-entry into the U.S. and exploiting his workforce. As of 2025, Aldo Escoto is still a federal fugitive at large. The case remains open, waiting for the day he finally shows his face.
Vince, what's the guy's name? Vince
Gilligan?
Vince Gilligan should sue him for stealing his idea.
Yeah.
You lived my show.
That's legitimately Breaking Bad.
Or was it the other way around? Oh.
No, we need to figure that out.
Can we call up Vince and double check on that, see if he knew Aldo?
That's what you're supposed to do.
Jordan, you're the guy behind the screen.
We need another
You want me to
employee.
look? I'm supposed to look up Vince Gilligan's
Yeah,
number.
give Vince Gilligan's phone number and get him on the line right now.
All right.
Story number 4. Florida does not disappoint. In a stand against health code compliance, Red Lantern Chinese restaurant repeatedly failed inspection, yet somehow stayed open. Inspectors went in and found absolute filth. 17 live roaches, 13 dead roaches, and over hundreds of rodent droppings on the floor and in the walk station. But the owner, Wei Wang, wasn't...
That's not his name.
Stop. How do you
That's
say
not.
we?
No, you can't make that. Really?
W-E-I. How do you say that?
No, it's Wei Wang.
That's Wei Wang.
Yeah, okay. But the owner, Wei Wang, wasn't interested in cleaning up. When inspectors tried to shut him down, Wang reportedly became so belligerent that he kicked them out mid-inspection, not once, but 3 different times in a single month. The state had to issue a formal complaint, shutting the place down for good. I don't know if this is good or bad, but despite all the filth, the aggression, and the eventual closure, the Red Lantern still held a 4.5-star Yelp rating. Given everything we know, and that they still had that good of a Yelp, that fried rice must have actually been pretty fuyo.
MSG Fuyo!
Uncle Roger. All right, Uncle Roger reference. He's going to charge you for that one, by the
Probably.
way. In my experience and of dining, the more unwelcome you feel at a Chinese restaurant, the better the food is. So if you walk in and they're like, go sit down. What do you want? Okay, and it's filthy, you're about to have some fire fried rice. It's going to be the best fried rice you ever had. We were serving dinner. It was Christmas Eve. All of a sudden, I hear a guest scream, and I look out and I see this lady just basically standing on the booth, like an old cartoon. A rat ran across the dining room. Okay, and I try to play it off. Oh, no, that wasn't a rat. There's no way, miss. There's no way. And as I'm talking to her, a rat runs over my foot. And I freak out. I'm standing on the booth basically with her. And I'm like, you're imagining this. This is not happening.
You thought we were done with Florida. That was silly of you. In March of 2023, a Taco Bell in Davie, Florida was shut down after health code inspectors uncovered an infestation that can only be described as horror movie material. They found hundreds of live maggots squirming in standing water by the nacho chips. Inspectors also noted cockroaches, dead flies, slimy buildup, and a general layer of sludge coating key areas of the kitchen. Despite all of this, I would have absolutely no hesitation wolfing down a Crunch Wrap.
Yeah, that did nothing for me, ruining Taco Bell. I mean, it didn't ruin Taco Bell for me
There's
at all.
so much preservatives in food like that. You're okay.
I think
it's just going to turn into a block in you, and then you pass it and you're on to the next.
I think the maggots were just, before they mixed it with the beef, because they said the beef's not 100% beef, right?
We've known that for years.
I know. Poor guys were just working hard. My wife will actually get donations from fast food restaurants. She got a donation of the McGriddle buns.
Oh.
So she got a donation of pancakes.
So you're telling me that you stole McGriddles from a homeless shelter?
It's like, don't say your wife's name. She's going to prison.
Yeah. She's going to get her license
No,
revoked.
they were donated. The messed up thing is, that these donations come in, they're like, God, these are about to expire. Let's go get our tax write-off. So Taco Bell gets shut down. Whoop-de-whoop. Yeah, I'm still going there. I had a full thought process. I thought I was going to say no.
I'll go back.
No, I'm going to go. I'm going to go after this.
This
okay?
episode sponsored by Taco Bell. Liv Moss. A woman at a Tim Hortons was denied access to the restroom. Crucially, Tim Hortons later released a statement clarifying that while they generally allow public restroom use, the employee had denied access based on the woman's past behavior. And out of concern for the immediate safety of staff and other guests. In response to the denial, she dropped her pants, defecated on the floor right in front of the counter, scooped up the feces with her bare hands, and threw it at the employee working behind the counter.
We are related to monkeys.
Doesn't fall far from the tree for some people, I suppose. This entire disgusting act was caught on surveillance footage and quickly went viral, cementing its place in fast food infamy.
I've never been a patron in a restaurant when that's happened, thank God.
No, it's worse. You've worked at restaurants that's happened at.
Yeah, but I mean, Tim comes home with this story.
She came in, seemed totally fine. She gets up to go to the bathroom and just releases all over the floor. It's on the wall, and I served her first drink, I think, or I saw her and talked to her at the bar.
So it was your fault.
No, because she was fine when we gave her her first one. We can't tell if she's on narcotics, so she was totally fine. But it's one of those things where you have a drink, one drink, and with these pills, she just got kind of loopy. And yeah, sure enough, she gets up to go to the bathroom and just.
Oh my God.
She came back. I was working one night 6 months later.
See, that's ballsy.
And I go up to the bar to pick up something from the well. Tim just goes, the chick over there in the
that
green
is poopy
sweater.
pants.
That's the chick who's against the wall. The fact that you would have the confidence to come back into an establishment that you literally blacked out and on the wall, and then you come back to tie one on.
I mean, that's just a level of
confidence.
Main character syndrome. I have no idea.
I think it's just lack of awareness, I feel kind of bad, honestly, because she's probably just kind of disconnected from reality.
I see a lot. I see a lot of that these days.
Trust me, I also am a psychiatrist, having bartended as long as I did.
Now, I've long maintained psychological dossiers on every single one of those raving lunatics.
In December of 2020, a woman hit the McDonald's drive-thru in Las Vegas and apparently said something that rubbed an employee the wrong way. That employee was Felicia O'Neill, and instead of rolling her eyes or venting in the break room like a normal human being, she spit in the woman's iced coffee. Not just a little spit, a full-on horked-up loogie. The customer drank the entire thing, then noticed something thick and jelly-like at the bottom of the cup. 5 days later, she tested positive for COVID. Authorities couldn't say for sure that the two were connected, but the timeline wasn't exactly working in O'Neill's favor. The incident was caught on surveillance footage, and O'Neill admitted to doing it during the investigation. McDonald's quickly fired her and issued the classic, "This does not reflect our values," corporate boilerplate. Their initial settlement offer to the victim was equally offensive. 2 free value meals and a $500 gift card. Just a slap in the face. You drank someone's spit and got COVID. There's no reporting on the actual settlement amount. All that we know at this point is that in May of 2023, O'Neill was sentenced in a Clark County court. She received a suspended sentence and was ordered to serve 1 year probation for the felony conviction. I'm not loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-bo.
Ba-da-ba-ba. No, you're up here, I need you down here.
That reminded me of this story that I read years ago. That was one of the most disgusting things I'd ever heard, and I just looked it up to try and get a little reference material to bring it up. And the first thing that pops up is that it was debunked. Finger in the Wendy's chili.
You should.
The Wendy's chili. Wait,
was that didn't happen?
No, that was completely.
Well, no,
the
lady got an actual finger and put it in the chili herself, but claimed it was in the chili that she was served. But she got someone she knew severed their finger at a factory, got the finger. She gets a hold of this finger somehow, puts it in the chili, and then it's you guys served me finger chili.
Yeah, that was
You don't remember that story? Wasn't that?
No,
wasn't
I remember
that
it. I remember.
Wasn't that off Monterey?
That was 20 years ago, right around here. I was just graduating.
Was it the one off Williams? Is that still there?
It's close to downtown. I used to go to that Wendy's.
Yeah, no, it was a super close by one that a bunch of my friends. I'll still go to Wendy's.
I like Wendy's.
I like Wendy's.
Well,
Dude, you know what I just found out too? You know the person who does Wendy's social media account? Do you know who that is?
Who?
That's they clap back on everyone and they're super funny. It's the I'm a snake. It's that guy.
Are you serious?
The I'm a snake guy. He's the guy that runs Wendy's Twitter.
That guy and the guy who runs, or guy or girl that runs the Ryanair Twitter account too. They always tend to clap back with some really funny stuff.
Dude, I love that so much. The pita and the crabs at the crab factory or whatever, the billboards or whatever, were super funny too. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Old Bay did that. It was Old Bay.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Old Bay did that.
Some customers get hangry.
All I want is great stuff! I deserve it to win!
Others turn into full-blown Marvel villains. In May of 2025, Lucy's restaurant in Wilmington, Delaware became ground zero for one of the most violent outbursts in recent food service history. A customer, Austin Pratt, was unhappy about something, reportedly the wait time, and he started arguing with employees and other patrons around like 9:37 in the morning. After refusing multiple requests to leave, Pratt allegedly threatened to kill one of them. A physical altercation ensued where Pratt punched the employee multiple times, then got him in a headlock. Staff manages to separate them, and then when police showed up, they arrest Pratt on the spot. Pratt's formally charged with 4 crimes, including felony strangulation, assault in the 3rd degree, terroristic threatening, and disorderly conduct. The lesson here is basically, don't ruin brunch.
Yeah, 9:37 in the morning is too early.
It's too early for
violence.
that.
Yeah.
Too early for that.
If you're in, you need coffee, right? I understand. I've heard some horror stories coming out of Starbucks.
20-year-old man is under arrest facing voluntary manslaughter charges.
People just going off the rails before they get their coffee.
So don't get between someone and their morning coffee, their morning cigarette.
I think we're looking at a real, genuine, serious case of hangry.
Yeah.
Well, no,
and aggressively single.
Well, and also emotionally unstable. I mean, it's not even 10 a.m.
Did his
and
mom
you're
bail
threatening
him out?
to kill people.
Yeah, it's like
Because
a
you have to
living
wait.
in the.
I couldn't find much follow-up on this one, so I don't really know what happened after all that.
I've never seen someone get angry about a wait time and threaten to beat the hell out of
I've seen
someone or
people
kill
get
them.
really angry
I've
about
seen
wait times, but never threatening physical violence and then actually following through on it.
Threatening bad reviews and leaving are like the two, like those are like the worst case scenarios. But like threatening, I've only seen violence threatened once at any establishment I've worked in, and that was because they were rowdy and drunk, and the owner went over and told them like they have to leave. And this dude,
I left when they asked me to. Okay.
I think you were there when this happened. But this guy, I mean, he was nose to nose with the owner, and he was a big dude.
Oh, that was the motorcycle guy.
He was like some big muscular dude who came in with his girlfriend and a couple others.
Yeah, I remember who that was.
Super drunk.
That guy was on a lot of steroids.
Some people say restaurant kitchens are high pressure and even notoriously hostile environments. In comparison, this last one doesn't pull the punches. At Margotto restaurant in Honolulu, 22-year-old sous-chef Sonny DeBellis endured relentless abuse over his 2.5-year tenure. The violence was dealt by the executive chef, Yohei Yagashita.
A lot of physical punches to the face, to the ribs, to the spine, kicks, to the hips, shins. It was relentless, and it was in full view of customers.
And in one specific incident, the sous-chef was stabbed with a meat skewer. Eventually, the injured sous-chef filed a civil lawsuit against the owner, accusing him of allowing the toxic environment to persist. In July of 2025, a Honolulu jury delivered a verdict awarding the victim $3.15 million in total damages.
One, I guarantee you that head chef, crazy good food. For the owner to be like,
The crazier the chef, the better the
yeah,
food.
100%. And also, let's talk about, I know domestic violence is a serious issue and people have trouble leaving those situations, but come on, dude, you're a grown-ass man. You're just getting your ass kicked by your boss every day. You're sticking around. He knew what he was doing. He was building a lawsuit and got $3.1 million. If you invest that correctly, you can retire. Maybe not in Hawaii.
Maybe not in Hawaii, no.
According to Google, Margotto Hawaii is still open and has 4.4 stars.
See?
On Google
You
reviews.
see? There it is.
It
I'm
looks-
telling you.
By the phone.
This episode is brought to you by Margotto.
And like one of the first pictures comes up is like a caviar like.
Of course it's caviar.
Of course it's caviar. Do they sell cheese sticks?
Margotto, this slaps.
Only out of the back of the kitchen.
They sell them. Yeah, this it slaps.
It's the most expensive item on the menu is the cheese sticks you can only buy out of like the dishwasher port.
Yeah, you have to buy from the back door though.
To go only.
This one comes straight from Vice's Restaurant Confessionals. An anonymous chef in the Netherlands confessed that 2 nights a year, once before King's Day and once before New Year's Eve, he lets his kitchen crew do amphetamines and drink alcohol during service. For us, I know, right? So let me explain it basically. So for us Americans who don't know, King's Day is basically St. Patrick's Day for Northern Europeans. You swap out the green for orange and trade in your Guinness for Dutch beer on boats. It's a national holiday in the Netherlands where everyone celebrates the king's birthday by day drinking in the streets and selling junk in front of their houses. Total chaos, very festive. Here's how it goes at the restaurant. Champagne at pre-shift dinner, then whiskey shots, then around 7 p.m. everyone drops speed and hits the line at full tilt. The rule applies to everyone, front of house, back of house, everyone gets involved. But the chef has one condition for all employees. You have to keep doing your job because the restaurant is open as usual. The chef says it makes service, quote, really funny, and gives everyone a happy feeling. Everyone moves faster, people are energized, chaos becomes comedy, except for that one guy who puked in the kitchen and then got way too chatty with guests. The chef openly admits this doesn't improve food quality since their taste buds get fried. They limit it to 2 nights a year so the crew can blow off steam with what he calls controlled chaos. They have something to look forward to, apparently.
I mean, that just sounds like a regular day at a restaurant.
A lot of showmanship and pageantry around it.
That does remind me of a time, Valentine's Day, where I was allegedly drinking before the shift. And Tim remembers this story.
We were all there.
I had to cover your tables for you and try to explain to him what was wrong with you.
I had to talk the manager down. He came out and where's Garrett?
You know what's funny too is people know it doesn't take an hour to close out a tab, which is basically what I kept telling people you were doing. Like, oh, he's just closing the tab.
She disappeared with my credit card. She didn't come back.
But who's really at fault at that point?
You, because you fired food that wasn't on the Valentine's Day menu on tables that weren't
Yeah,
seated.
wasn't it a prefix and you were selling the regular menu?
You were selling regular. You sent it on table 14 and I came back and I was like, there's no one there.
Yeah. He starts yelling at me.
The food came out. I think I tried to run it out for you. And I was like,
dude,
I ran a salad to no one.
It's because we didn't plan it correctly. You don't do 3 seatings of 400 people or 40 people at one time. That's a stupid way to do it.
I blame it on that, not you getting hammered before the shift.
Yeah, dude. And first of all, that was alleged.
Allegedly.
We never proved anything, and there's no court documents.
I really don't want this on the episode.
That was honestly,
by the way.
I just told someone that story not too long ago, actually.
When I started working at the Mediterranean restaurant where we all work together, I'm on my way into work. Chris calls me, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, hey, don't talk to the news reporters.
Oh my God.
I just quit when that happened.
I'm thinking, the news reporters? Why would there be news reporters at the restaurant? And by the time I get there, I guess they were gone because it was a big deal, but they dispersed pretty quickly. And I had found out about the whole fish.
That's national news.
The whole fish thing. Was it national news?
It was national news.
If you look up his name,
Fishgate.
If you look up his name now and you click the news section, or if you just go on Google,
if you Google Fishgate, it'll show up.
No, if you
Fishgate more.
Look his name up, and it's 75% of the Google responses on the first page. This happened 10 years ago.
Yeah, I just remember for weeks after the fallout of that too, people were just bad-mouthing the whole place.
Bad-mouthing us for working there, dude.
Bad-mouthing us for working there. And I'm like, dude,
I'm a waiter.
I just work here, dude. I'm not the one who was telling you that, what was it, the
Petroli sole.
He was serving
tilapia.
It was tilapia, and he was calling it Petroli sole, which is it's basically
just
tilapia.
better tilapia.
It's just barely a step up. It's not like he was giving him ground beef and calling it filet mignon.
This is the equivalent of giving someone sirloin steak and saying it's certified Angus. This was tilapia cost $4 a pound, and Dover and Petroli sole was going for 12 to 15. He was ripping people off by 200 to 300% of what his cost
and so
was.
I mean, at the end of the day, I just remember I'm like, oh dude, there's about to be some tea when I get to work.
Some guy came in, and it's a very quiet, very upscale dining room, and so anything that's off we pick up instantly. It's very quick to notice and observe that. And someone came back to the kitchen and passing me, and they're like, you gotta see this guy on table 20. And I'm like, oh, okay. Normal looking guy sitting there, and sitting across from him is a tripod with a cell phone on it, and an AI woman in a red dress or something like that. And I was just thought, like, I can't tell if you're a programmer who's out here in the field, like, testing this to see, or if you're just, like, the newest generation of, like, trying something to...
How old was he?
Mid-20s to early 30s.
Yeah, no.
Could have been an engineer.
He could have been a software engineer.
Could have been a complete weirdo.
But yes,
could have been a complete weirdo software engineer.
Nothing came off weird besides that. He was a normal guy. He was
everything's normal except he's talking to his... Yeah.
Well, except the fact that he ordered a full 4-course dinner for her, and I don't think, like, I mean, I don't know if he even brought water.
Okay, so he's not. There's no way he's a software engineer if he ordered food for her.
No, I was like,
he's
ordered 2
He's a
dinners.
weirdo.
Yeah. No, that was one of those things.
That's where that's
the tell.
That's the tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Baby, you haven't touched your squaw.
Well, that's when
didn't a busser eat it when you took it back too?
No, he boxed it all to take home.
He did take it home. I thought the busser. I thought they cleared the table like one of your bussers was eating her dinner in the back.
I will give credit where credit's due. The bussers that I work with are like super, like they do not pull that like eating off of plates. I've seen that on so many occasions at so many places I've worked.
Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of yucky.
We've all done it.
No.
You are lying.
I know.
You are lying through your teeth.
We went so quiet for a second.
Everyone got quiet.
And we all looked down. Like I looked away. And I remember,
I'm trying to think like, no, but it's different when I did it. It was different when I did it.
No. I only ate the lamb chops at
I only ate the parts they hadn't been chewing on.
Yeah. Jesus. Just the way both of you were just shut up.
No,
like,
I looked down. I looked at my feet. I was just like, I remember the plate that I did it on too. Like,
I love that both of you guys tried to play that off.
It made me feel
like,
so
well, you know, it's so gross when other people do it.
I mean, but
we've all done it.
There's a difference though. Like I've seen people eat leftovers off of people's plates that had like been chewed on, and it's like sloppy, saucy stuff. Like I would eat if there was like an egg roll that wasn't touched, like something that hadn't been in someone's mouth or had contact with like a utensil that had been in someone's mouth. That's where I drew the line. And even then, like it was pretty infrequent, and it was definitely when I was younger versus like the latter half of my restaurant career. So yeah, clearly, working in the service industry can be absolutely brutal, but it's something I think everyone should experience. You build character, develop work ethic, learn to manage stress, improve your people skills, and you learn a lot about life. So next time your drink takes too long, or your burrito doesn't come with enough napkins, remember to be kind and patient, because it's just food, and most of these people are treated terribly. If you made it this far, consider leaving us that digital tip of a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next deranged installment on Timbo Vision Plus.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Garrett. Thank you for being here.
Was this everything that you thought it would be?
We did not talk about any of the topics.
That's typically what ends up happening.
Garrett, you might want to pull your mic back just a little bit. I think I can hear a little bit of your breathing on the...
I'm just fat, dude.